What is happening, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. And today I have a special guest. If you're a longtime fan of Twin Suns, then you know the origin story of the Twin Suns was a Legends of Runeterra podcast hosted by myself, Mikey, and Josh. But this is Josh. Josh, welcome back in.
Hey, how's it going? Pretty nice to be back.
Yeah, so I got Josh into SWU, and he's been enjoying himself so far. So today is a very special video because we are actually going to be revealing two new cards for the new set, Shadows of the Galaxy, sent to us by FFG themselves. So huge shout out to FFG. Thank you guys for sending two cards for us to spoil. We're super excited to be involved in the content game on this side of things. So this is new to us, right, Josh? I don't think we've ever spoiled cards before, have we?
No, yeah, we haven't. Runeterra, we got a lot of those developer interviews, but we never got cards to spoil, so
Yeah, they didn't seem to do
pretty
that, but
exciting.
I do love a company that's sending out cards for the community to share within the community. So, well, everyone's gonna be waiting for these cards, so let's jump right to it. The first one I've been teasing for a couple days here, but let's jump right to him. It is the Hunter of the Haxian Brood, which is just what an epic name. First off, it is a cunning villainy card. So we've been seeing a lot of those. Forlom and Zuckuss both just got revealed like yesterday or a day or two ago, depending on when you're listening. Both cunning villainy. So we have another one here, but this art has been spoiled for a while now. It was in a stream at toward the beginning of when they start talking about Shadows of the Galaxy. So it's pretty exciting because we finally get to see, okay, what the heck is this fire freaking flamethrower looking robot dude doing? Well, he's a unit on the ground. He's a 3 cost, a 4/3, an underworld, and a bounty hunter. So two very important tags. And his ability is while an enemy unit has a bounty, this unit gains shielded. So the key thing here with shielded is when you play this unit, it gives a shield token to it. So it has to be played. Shielded itself is its own keyword of on play. So if you have this guy out and you already have a bounty on an opposing unit, or you put a bounty on an opposing unit after this guy's on the board, nothing will happen. You need to play this guy while your opponent has a bounty on their board. So initial thoughts, Josh?
Yeah, not gonna lie, I skipped reading the text in parentheses for a while, and I was sitting there contemplating, like, how does the shield work if there's a bounty that never goes away? And
Yeah.
then I finally read the rest of the, shield it, and I was like, oh, I have to do this more often because I constantly am misreading cards because I don't read the fine print.
Yeah, the reminder text there is pretty important. So it's definitely something it took me a second. I read it a couple times as well. I was like, wait, so how does he? But no, it's when he's played. So you need to have a bounty out when you're going to play this guy.
Yeah.
So on curve is interesting. If you have a 0 cost bounty or something, or if you played a bounty on your first turn, pretty cool because you can drop a 4/3 with a shield, which is obviously really high value. You're using a lot of cards at that point. Because you've played a card or two on turn one, and now you're getting to turn two, you're dropping this unit. But he's a 4/3 with a shield that trades into two things. I mean, I feel like this guy, we don't know exactly what the bounty decks are going to look like yet, but I mean, 3 drops are very, very hard to fit into decks because there's so many good ones. But dang, this guy's pretty legit.
Yeah, I think he's pretty good, especially with the stuff that you can do on curve. So, like, yeah, obviously, like you said, we don't know what bounties are necessarily going to be good. But
Yep.
like on your first turn, if you were to put like a unrefusable offer, which is the 2 cost, it's like the bounty. Play this unit for free.
Yep.
So if you play that on the enemy's unit, turn one, turn two, you drop him, he gets the shield. Turn three, you play um, who is it? The people that were just revealed today and yesterday. Oh, Forlom,
Yeah, for
and
long.
then and then you use the hunter to kill the unit with the bounty. So then you have a board of three on
Yeah.
turn three.
Yeah, it seems really,
It seems to
really
get pretty
strong.
wild.
Yeah, I mean, I really like the idea of a bounty deck just not having to play a unit turn one and just playing a bounty on your opposing player's unit. That's a really fun concept of being like, all right, well, I didn't play anything, but I'm just gonna bounty your unit, and then this guy's gonna come down. He's a shielded 4/3. And we didn't talk about the Underworld tag a ton, but Underworld's getting some love. Obviously, Cad Bane, the leader, has some really nice synergy with Underworld cards. And then I think we just saw another card again, depending on what day you're listening, that had a bounty hunter specific effect. Let you attack with them, and they get plus additional attack, but they can't attack bases, something along those lines. So super interesting card. I mean, he's just a common, but I think he's going to see I mean, he seems like a staple for this archetype of bounties. I mean, if you're in Yellow Villainy, I mean, that's again, Boba Fett is in Yellow Villainy as a 3 drop. He's amazing, probably one of the best cards in the game. But like, what else do you really want to run at 3 at that side? You know, they normally run the 3/2 shielded, the 7th Fleet Defender for space. But if you want to put a third 3 drop in there and you're going heavy into the bounty, I mean, this guy he's a contender. I think he's pretty legit.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like the stat line is amazing. You add shield to it. Like so, I'm sure someone's going to figure out how to get high percentage bounties on turn three,
Yeah,
by turn three.
yeah, yeah.
Um, and if he's coming out 4/3 with shielded, and then with the new bouncing or the like, what is it, Mob Clunky? Or I'm sorry if I mispronounced that,
We just
but
don't
where
try
you
to
can
pronounce that word. It's too hard.
you return a friendly non-leader underworld, and then if you do deal 3 damage, if
Yeah.
you could bounce this guy since he's only 3 costs, I think he could have a ton of value, especially you 4/3 coming out shielded is wild. So
Yeah, I mean that's a really good point. With the Underworld tag, you get those bounce effects that they've been putting out, and you know the guy has shielded when they have a bounty, which is on play, so you could get multiple uses out of the shield. So I mean, both traits of this character, Underworld and Bounty Hunter, are important, but just the stat line alone, with the possibility of being a shield, obviously he's not going to see a bunch of splash play in a bunch of other decks that aren't involving bounties. But like the decks
yeah,
that are, he might be a staple unit going forward for those decks, and we still need to see probably a few more bounties coming out. I'm guessing. I mean, I think a lot of the set has been close to revealed at this point. At least a decent chunk. I'd say 50% plus. But I still think we could see a few more bounties coming out, and this guy's just going to increase in value there. I mean, obviously not monetarily. He's a common, so he's going to be everywhere. But I think he'll see some play for
I
sure.
agree.
All right, well, let's move on to our second card, which I mean, this guy. I don't know if I have more hype for the second card, but it being a rare, I think I kind of have to. So the second card is a double aggression 3 cost. So we got 2 3 cost here, and it's the Chaos of War. It's a plan, and it says deal damage to each player's base equal to the number of cards in that player's hand. So deal damage to each player's base. That includes yourself. So you're going to deal damage to yourself. But again, we're seeing some discard mechanics already coming out. So like it really could fit into this red synergy of like discarding your own cards to do a bunch of extra nonsense. But beyond that, any card that's an event that deals damage to base on play, where you don't have to take an action, is something to seriously consider being good or not, or being great or not, right? So like the first one that comes to mind is For a Cause I Believe In, which Josh and I both have a lot of use out of. It's a red heroism card that's dealing damage based on if you reveal heroism cards from the top of your deck, and that card sees a ton of play just because it's damage instantly
Hmm.
to an opposing base. So in an aggro deck where you don't care about dealing damage to your own base, this card's really exciting.
Oh yeah, I mean this is full aggro, and it seems kind of like the Palpatine killer. It's those aggro decks if they get stuck, not pushing enough damage, and then Palpatine's kind of just sitting there killing and drawing, killing and drawing.
Yeah,
It just kind of seems like you hope to draw this and finish him with it. Even if you're paying 5, it seems like a really good finisher for any aggro deck.
that's
At
a
least
good
the
point.
Sabine yellow, Sabine green, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't even think of splashing it outside. You know, like there's been some interesting double red cards that we've seen. Obviously, aggression. The card itself is really good, but like, yeah, splashing this for 5, it damage out of hand as an event. You know, no actions wasted. Just boop, take damage. Yeah, for 5, it doesn't seem that bad either. And great point against Palpatine, who's drawing cards. Control decks who are sitting on all their answers, just waiting for you to play a card and reacting. I mean, geez, super fun card. There is just like some funniness to it. Like in my head, I'm like, oh, I'm playing. I have Yoda, and we both draw a card. You're making your opponent, or sorry, your opponent draws a card, whatever. So you're just
Mhm.
making people draw cards and things like that. Like there might be some, or like the cards that on have their own bounty printed on them, and on defeat your opponent can draw a card or whatever it is, right? Like something along those lines
Yeah.
to feed your opponent a card or two. In an aggro deck, it's like, yeah, you're giving them some answers, but ultimately, if you're getting better value out of the things early, it's fantastic. So this card, I think a lot of people are going to be talking about because, again, just damage out of hand is crazy. It can finish games. I did want to bring up one other thing on this card, and the fact that this might be one of the most fun Twin Suns cards I've seen revealed so far. Which is ironic, us being the Twin Sons
True.
podcast here, or Twin Sons YouTube channel. that we get this card, but deal damage to each player's base equal to the number of cards. So for 3 resources, you could just be putting out like 20 damage in a 4-player game, right? Like they each
Yeah,
have
yeah.
5 cards in their hand, including yourself or something. Drop this card, everybody gets blasted. You just docked a whole turn off of your Twin Suns game, which is great.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, this is kind of wild. You could definitely knock a bunch of people out. I am wondering how, like, what damage resolves first, and the chance where you're basically killing the opponent and suiciding yourself. How does that resolve? Do we know?
Um, we probably do know there's probably an answer for that, and sometimes it's on attack resolves first, like the attacker gets to do it. But this isn't an on attack ability; it's just an event. This might be simultaneous, which would mean both people die at the same time, um, which would be hilarious. And again, I'm sure they're going to put out an answer on underneath this card. Like FFG does a really good job at doing that for clarification purposes, but. It might, someone who's been playing this game a little bit closer than we have, competitively at least, will probably know the answer because there's definitely cards that can do that right now. Someone attacked Overwhelm on the K2SO and K2SO React. I don't know, some other example I could think of where both people die at the same time. But this is one that it could definitely happen more often with, right? Definitely people could die at the
Yeah,
same time. But it gets even funnier if,
100%.
like, 3 characters die at the same time. Or 3
Yeah.
players die at the same time, which is crazy. Crazy. Well, I'm hyped on both of these art. Art looks amazing on both of these cards. You got the Haxiom Brood, and this card here with Bo-Katan leading the charge against some Deathwatch Mandos. Looks awesome. Ahsoka in the background there too. So I would use that as a playmat personally, but I'd also use the other one. So I'm just super grateful to FFG for sending us 2 cards to reveal. Hopefully you guys can take them and run. I'll post these images right away so you guys can have them and spread them around. And people post on the Facebook group, Discords, blah blah blah. So enjoy, take the cards around. I know our buddy Jack from the Golden Dice podcast will hunt any cards he gets to reveal as hyperspace foils. So Josh, I think we're gonna have to join that and try to find a hyperspace foil of both these 2 cards.
Yeah, I'll be on the lookout.
Yeah, he's screwed because he got the reveal legendary, so he's gonna have to pay some money for that. Hopefully, it's a little easier for us. A
I think
common
it will
or
be.
yeah. Well, thank you guys, Josh. Any final thoughts on this? Anything about Swoop you excited for?
I'm excited for the new set. I'll actually get in on time so that I'm not scrounging for scraps. I can actually get boxes. So.
It's tough. Yeah. Hopefully we get some nice boxes of Shadows of the Galaxy very soon. So, guys, if you enjoyed the video, leave a subscription. Thank you again to FFG for throwing us out these 2 spoilers. We're super happy to share them with you. And as always, keep on swinging at the base. I need to come up with something.
That's what I love.
Swing at the base.